and welcome to this week's Astrology Weather Report. And what an amazing week we are looking at in astrology this week. There are some big shifts from some outer planets that are going to be like a fresh, cool breeze blowing across the landscape after a hot day. It's going to really lift the weight of heaviness that a lot of people have been experiencing for the last few months. So we absolutely can't wait for this. I know I'm itching for it. In fact, I'm so excited. I've got my Jupiter colors on. Jupiter rules the colors of purple and orange, sort of royal colors. I've got my Jupiter badge on. So we're channeling lots of Jupiter energy because this is Jupiter's week this week where he changes signs. And we'll get into that and what it's going to mean for all signs, but perhaps not in the interpretations you may have already heard from many astrologers. We're going to look at something a little bit different. So stick with me for that. But before I get into it, I just want to remind people that I have a webinar coming up with Lada, on Astrolada, I should say, and it's about how to see whether you will have many marriages in your lifetime through your astrology chart, and also how to look and find the different life partners. If you've had 3 partners already, committed marriages or committed relationships, then you're hunting for your 4th. Well, what are they going to look like in terms of what type of person are they going to be? What career might they have? Where might you meet them? We can see all those sorts of things by looking at our chart. I'm going to teach you all how to do that, how to find your next life partner in your chart. So join me for that. You can go to the link, I'll put it in the comments section, to jump online and order that one, and join me on the 16th of November for this wonderful webinar that I've prepared. So looking forward to doing that with you and exploring the many marriages topic with you. Okay, so we'll leave that one aside and we'll start with what's happening this week. Well, on the 7th of November, we have, firstly, the new moon is occurring in Scorpio. Yes, I've got that right. So Scorpio is where this new moon is occurring. Now, I'm not going to go into a great deal of information about Scorpio moon type stuff and new moon type stuff, because basically I've done a video that's on Lada's channel as part of my playlist if you're interested in finding out my interpretation of a Scorpio moon and what that means in the natal chart. But wherever we have a new moon, such as this one, we have the energies of something new beginning, of something new starting this week. So it's the beginning of a 2-week emphasis, if you like, on Scorpio things, which is perhaps in the next 2 weeks you might find some sort of hidden mysteries come to light in your life. Maybe things that have been hidden might come out, and you can deal with them in a new way through this new moon. Scorpio is hidden things. Scorpio is and mysterious energy, things that are of the darker realm, but also things that we're not perhaps consciously aware of, or that we are subduing. Actually, that's much more of the Scorpio energy, where Scorpio energy is they're aware of things, but they're keeping it hidden, keeping it out of sight. Whereas the Pisces nature of hidden things is that it's subconscious, and we're not even actually consciously aware of it. So two elements, 2 signs, I should say, that are about things that are hidden, and but coming from very different places. Scorpio is hidden things that we know about, the skeletons in the closet, so to speak. So these things might, with the new moon occurring in Scorpio, we might get a chance to address some of our hidden fears, some of our hidden secrets, and resolve them or work on them over the coming 2-week period before we receive a full moon down here in 2 weeks' time. But I'm not going to talk too greatly about what the new moon in Scorpio means for each sign, because I want to talk about other things. The really exciting things that I see occurring on this day, that the 7th of November, yes, we've got a new moon, so that makes it a red letter day, a special day. But we also have the North Node and the South Node moving into new signs. Now, I am so excited about this. Where you've got a new moon, that happens once a month. So it's a fairly regular type transit that occurs, and we have an opportunity every month to set new intentions, to visualize and set goals for the coming month ahead. And this is what we do with the new beginnings, as sort of illustrated, I guess, by the new moon occurring each month. But when the North Node and the South Node change signs, that occurs once every 18 to 24 months, depending, but roughly 18 months. So it is something very new. It is, a once in 18 month occurrence. And in fact, the North Node being in Cancer and the South Node being in Capricorn is a once in 18 year occurrence, because it takes 18 years for the nodes to do a full circuit of the horoscope. So it's special. So for the last 18 months, we've been focusing on Leo issues. North Node's been in Leo. That's our destiny point, where we've all been heading. So wherever Leo falls in your chart is where the eclipses have been manifesting things for you. It's where that energy has been playing out. So if you had, say, Leo in the 6th house, well, it might be work issues, it might be health issues that have been playing out for you. If you had Leo in the 10th house, it could be career and worldly achievements and social aspirations that you've had. If you have it had it in the 2nd house, Leo, if your 2nd house is Leo, therefore Cancer would be your rising sign. If you had it there, then it would be money issues, resources, the ability to provide for your life and to support your life financially. That's what would have been playing out. So depending on where Leo falls, that's where the energy has been for you over the last 18 months, particularly being triggered by the eclipses. But now the move is happening from the North Node into Cancer. This sign, Cancer, is going to be where our focus is over the next 18 months. And we're going to have eclipses there in January and June. So get ready for those. They will bring some big changes to whatever Cancer rules in your chart. So again, if it's 5th house things, Cancer's 5th house, well, it might be love and romance that comes into your life, brought about by an eclipse occurring on an important planet or an ascendant degree, or depending on the nature of your chart. So it's kind of difficult to go into an explanation for everyone, because really the eclipses that are going to occur will manifest things depending on what planets you've got sitting in Cancer or Capricorn over the coming 18 months. So if you're interested in knowing, well, what's going to happen for me regarding the North Node, regarding the eclipses, regarding the energies that are going to play out with the next 18-month transit of the nodes through Cancer, Capricorn, then get in touch. I'm happy to do reading for you to look at what is brewing in a sense for you there. But it'll be generally regarding the nature of the planet that it touches. If there's an eclipse on a planet that's there for you, so if you had Venus in the middle degrees of Cancer, you would be expecting to receive an eclipse happen on your Venus, and therefore Venus things would be of issue for you from that eclipse. So you might be relationships with women, it might be money, it might be love and romance, it might be sense of self-worth and becoming more empowered. So that's the nature of eclipses, and this is what we've got to look forward to in the next 18-month period. So yes, if you've got planets in Cancer or Capricorn, you want to know what it means, how it might play out for you, by all means, feel free to get a reading from me and we can look at those sorts of things. But Cancer and Capricorn are obviously houses for everybody in whole sign astrology. It doesn't matter where your ascendant falls, you're going to have Capricorn or Cancer somewhere in your chart. And so that's where these eclipses will play out, and the energy of the North Node for the next 18 months will be focused for you. So, for example, Cancer is my 5th house. So the energy for me is going to be very focused on 5th house things. Perhaps more pleasure might come into my life. I might get more opportunity for some social enjoyment and going out and having fun. Maybe some new hobbies might come into my life. Maybe I'll get a chance for some romance, fingers crossed. All these 5th house things are going to be what is generated by the eclipses here. There can also be a sweeping out that occurs with an eclipse as the North Node progresses through these signs. I might find that, for example, some hobbies that I have clung on to for years, but really just cluttering up my cupboards with stuff that I don't really use anymore, that's gone. Eclipse comes and I just chuck all that stuff out, and perhaps to make room for a new hobby that comes into my life or a new interest. So this is what can happen when we have eclipses in a certain house. So that's just an example from my own life. I will tell you in 18 months time what exactly happens, but it's impossible to predict 100% accurately with eclipses because they're quite volatile energy in a sense. They're very unexpected and out of the blue, a bit Uranian, I've got to say, the nature of eclipses. And they happen, similarly to Uranus, they happen in order to liberate us and to make space in our lives for new things, for an up leveling, for going forward, for being more authentic and true to what our life purpose is, according to our chart, and why we have entered into this lifetime and manifested in this lifetime. So that's the nature of the North Node moving through a new sign, what it's going to bring us. All right, the other really cool thing that's happening on the 7th, I'm just crossing that off my notes. The other cool thing that's happening on the 7th is we've got Uranus in the sign of Aries. Here we are here. This is Uranus. And Uranus on the 7th moves back into the sign of Aries. And I'm very excited about this occurrence, actually, because it's the final time that Uranus is ever going to be in Aries in our lifetime, unless we live to be very, very old. Uranus takes 84 years to go all around the horoscope. So it's pretty much the course of a lifetime, his transit. So the time that he spends in Aries, 7-year period, that's all I'm never going to see that again. I don't expect to live long enough to ever see Uranus in Aries again. So the things that Uranus was emphasizing for the 7-year period while he was in Aries are a once in a lifetime experience for me, once in a lifetime chance to liberate myself. Uranus's liberation, his authenticity, he is setting you free, helping you be more true to yourself. And in that area of my life, that 7-year period of the transit through Aries, that was the one and only time that I could become focused on those things in a liberated, authentic, revolutionary way with Uranus there. There might be triggers through squares in the future, oppositions perhaps, and other planets moving through there, but Uranus being in that sign for a 7-year period will only happen once in my lifetime, once in your lifetime. And so there is a big emphasis there. So Uranus moving back into Aries is the final time that we're going to see him there. And unless you're a newborn baby and you live to be 100. So, but this is his last time to go back into to Aries for most of us. And so there's this big final emphasis, this big final last hurrah, this big final push of Uranus saying, have you got your shit together regarding your Aries things? Now, I'll use an example from my chart. Aries is my 2nd house. Have I got my shit together regarding my resources, regarding my money, regarding my self-worth and self-valuing? Have I become authentic? Look back over the last 7 years. Where does Aries fall in your chart in whole sign astrology? What house is it? And that has been what Uranus has been calling you to become more authentic about, calling you to become more liberated about. And he's probably brought some pretty hefty roller coaster ride along the way. For example, my chart in the 2nd house has been, there've been times when I have had plenty of money, and then there's been times when I've been like scratching to put groceries on the table, food on the table for my kids. So it's been real up and down with money for me over the last 7 years. And so now is my final chance to address that. And I'm really curious to see what it is that Uranus is going to leave me with when he exits, because he's going retrograde at the moment, backwards, and then he's going to turn direct and go forwards again into Taurus. And that's going to happen in April when he leaves Aries for the last time. I'm really curious to see from the 7th of November until April when he leaves, what is this last hurrah he's giving me regarding my resources? What is this last emphasis I'm going to, be called to address regarding my money and my self-worth, regarding relationships with women even, regarding basically the things I need to support my bodily journey through life. So what do I need to address? And you, if you look at your chart, look at Aries, what is Uranus calling you to address and become more authentic about for the final time as he transits through there. And it's very exciting. I mean, I feel it's when he really packs a punch and really makes us stand up and say, right, this is it. I've done it. This is sorted. And now I'm going forward with regard to my resources, with regard to my love life, with regard to my family and my children, whatever it happens to be. I'm going forward now in a whole new manner that 7 years ago I wasn't in a position to do. And Uranus calls us to really address those things and celebrate too. It's a time of celebration, I feel, when we have a planet. Well, in April it will be a time of celebration when the planet moves into a new sign permanently to stay there, and the focus now fully will go into Taurus. And so that's a really special time. Okay, now we're beginning a whole new 7-year cycle of life, a 7-year focus, a 7-year emphasis. What are we going to address? And we can begin right from the start of that 7-year cycle and say, I'm going to focus on third house things, and how can I work with that energy? How can I bring more authenticity? If we start from the moment he goes in April to Taurus again, then we can really start manifesting at a high level the energies that he's wanting to unfold for us over the next 7 years, if we're very conscious about it, if we're aware. So again, if you would like me to look at your chart to explore those sorts of things, more than happy to do so and help sort of unravel what Uranus's energy is all about for you in the next 6 months. But moving on from our new moon, from our Uranus moving back into Aries, and from our North Nodes changing signs, we hit November 8. And this is going to be another red letter day. So what a big week. We hit November 8. Jupiter moves into Sagittarius. So currently he's in Scorpio, and on November 8th, Australian time, so possibly November 7th in other parts of the world. Sorry if I confuse people with that. You can check it out yourself online if you want to. There are a number of programs that show you where the planets currently are. So, if I'm confusing you with my dates, jump online and Google sort of planetary transits, and you'll be able to find a program that'll show you exactly when it's in a certain area, or the change will occur for you in your part of the world. But November 8th is when he's going to move into Sagittarius. And so this is the one we've all been waiting for. Jupiter has been in Scorpio for a year, emphasizing Scorpio themes for everybody, wherever Scorpio falls in your chart, and also revealing some hidden things, delving deep into the hidden mysteries of society and bringing them out into the open in a lot of ways, especially as he's been sextiling Pluto. Pluto's sitting over here in Capricorn, and he's been sextiling Pluto on and off over the last year. And Pluto is about, if we get a Pluto transit, we have hidden things coming to the surface in order for us to deal with them, our fears and our psychological hang-ups. When we have a Pluto transit, we can't fight it. They come up, and we've got to address them and deal with them when we have a Pluto transit. So there's been this sextile to Pluto throughout his time in Scorpio that's been bringing up hidden things. The Me Too movement started, and the dealing with the Bill Cosbys and the Harvey Weinsteins and all that all came up. Jupiter in Scorpio, hidden things were revealed, and thank goodness for that. And hopefully we now move forward and progress from that. But what I want to focus on now for everybody, as Jupiter moves into Sagittarius, and it's going to bring much more emphasis to higher learning, to traveling, to belief systems, to inspirational mentors and benefactors in our lives. These are all the things that we see from the sign of Sagittarius. But the one key word for Sagittarius, and it relates to Jupiter as well, the key word is expansion. Sagittarius is all about expansion, and Sagittarian strong people, they seek expansion in their inner being through traveling, through adventure, through understanding more, getting more wisdom and knowledge, through gurus and inspirational people. They want to understand and expand in this lifetime. So that is the key word for Sagittarius. So for all of us, this next year is about expansion in career, expansion in our home life, expansion in our love life, expansion in our hobbies, expansion, like wherever Sagittarius falls for you is where the emphasis of expansion is going to lie in the coming year as Jupiter moves through that sign. So it's very exciting, big, prosperous, abundant energy that we're all looking forward to in the coming year. So yay, Jupiter. But what I've found is interesting is that at the moment that Jupiter changes from Scorpio to Sagittarius, the moon will be 4 degrees from Jupiter, which according to the orbs that I use, an orb is the degree difference between two planets. The orb is if it's under 5, it's I consider it a conjunction. And so we've got a conjunction at the very moment Jupiter changes signs with the moon. Now, if we were to cast a chart for this day, this moment in time, and say this is a chart cast that illustrates what Jupiter is going to bring us in the coming year. Whenever we begin something new, and this is another astrology service that I can offer, whenever we begin something new, such as we get married, we buy a house, we start a new job, we can cast a chart for that thing, whatever it happens to be. And that will tell us the nature of our life in that new house, or the job and what's going to play out regarding that job. So when you begin something new, the moment you sign that contract, note the time down and then go look up later, well, where were the stars? What was the universe telling me about how this is going to play out? And so when we look at where Jupiter is as he begins his sojourn through Sagittarius over the coming year, we can cast a chart for that moment and say, right, what is going to play out? How is this energy going to work for us? And when we do that, we will see, naturally, that the moon and Jupiter are conjunct. So Jupiter moon energy is going to be the energy of the coming year in our lives. And what does this actually look like? Well, it's supremely optimistic. Jupiter is expansion, prosperity, luck, good fortune, and the moon is our emotional well-being. So we're going to be buoyant this year. We're going to be upbeat this year. We're going to be optimistic. Similarly, Jupiter expands the qualities of the moon. So we might feel more nurturing, more caring, more loving to others. We might want to really, embrace growing something from a seed to its maturity. That's how I see the moon. Nurturing is often associated with mothering, but that's not always the case. If you've got strong moon energy in your life, it doesn't always mean you're going to be a mum. Especially if you're a man, you're not going to be a mum. But what it actually is, what the idea of nurturing actually is to take a seed, be that a baby, be it a pet, be it a garden, be it a job, be it a business, whatever the seed, the beginning start of something is, and you grow it to its maturity. That's what true nurturing is. So Jupiter's going to expand that in our lives. We can begin something and grow it to its maturity. We can nurture things in this coming year. What's on your heart to begin? What's on your heart that you want to nurture in the year ahead? Explore that now and get it in place, because when this starts, we can really run with it when after the 8th of November. So moon qualities will be expanded by Jupiter: nurturing, caring, kindness, intuition, tuning in to psychic realms. The moon's very psychic, even connecting with karmic past lives as well. The moon is a very karmic indicator in the chart. The moon is also a very manifesting planet. So we might be able to really manifest in a big way this coming year. Set your intentions and make some goals and put some dreams and aspirations in place and watch them unfold. Jupiter gives this expansion of the moon's manifesting energy. So it's very, very positive. I'm just so excited by this occurrence, actually. And I can't wait to see what it's going to bring. The moon also rules women. So when you've got Jupiter, which is the planet of the guru, the inspirational person, the philosophical leader that we all look up to, the inspiration, when this combines, we might find collectively around the world that inspirational women really rise up. We see more of the likes of Michelle Obama or, you know, Oprah Winfrey, more Mother Teresa's coming to prominence, more Princess Diana's, more women who are inspirational figures and visible world figures will really start to rise up. And equally in your own personal life, you might find there are more inspirational women in your own life coming to support you, who've got your back, who want to, you know, really connect with you over the coming year. And you might have more, feminine energy that's really helping you achieve your dreams and goals as well. So this is another exciting thing that can occur, especially after all this mess and kerfuffle we've gone through with, you know, bringing the women's issues to light, say in Hollywood and Me Too movement around the world and so on. We've brought all that up, and now the women can really rise up. The inspirational female leaders can rise up and start to really manifest some good stuff and take things forward in a strong and powerful way. It's very exciting. It's also a very social configuration. So you might be feeling more sociable this year, feeling like connecting more with people, interacting more with people, being more jovial with people in general. So, you know, and particularly your family. Moon is family. And so you might actually want to connect more with your family and want to have more family dinners and get-togethers and that sort of thing and celebrations, which is lovely. And of course, anything that you start now has a real chance to be successful because it will have been begun with good intentions. The Moon Jupiter connection here is positive, upbeat, uplifting, and your heart's going to be in the right place. You know, if you start a business now, over the coming year, your heart's going to be in the right place with it. Your motives are going to be good. You're going to have a faithful outlook. Jupiter is faith and belief systems as well, and you're emotionally going to have the right heart attitude, faith attitude to what you're doing and what you're beginning. Things like overseas holidays are going to be supported. You're going to enjoy them. They're going to be good for your soul, good for your emotional well-being, good for your heart. So book a holiday, go to Bulgaria in June and enjoy Lada's company if you are so privileged to do that. I'm very jealous if you can. But take the opportunity to go overseas, do some travel, because emotionally you're going to be really blessed from traveling. Even within your country, it's healthy to travel and have some time out in the coming year. So plan for that now. But above all, we might actually find that we're a bit more lucky than usual over the coming year because of Jupiter starting this 1 year sojourn with the Moon. As I said, the Moon's a manifesting planet, and Jupiter is luck and expansion. So we might feel more lucky, and therefore we might actually attract more luck to us because we're putting out that beautiful lucky vibe. So get ready for that. It's going to be fun. But now let's have a look and see, well, the Moon rules Cancer. Let's look and see what Cancer is all about in your chart. And that'll tell us where all these beautiful energies of luck and expansion and growth may be playing out for you in the year ahead. So first of all, if you're Aries, Aries rising, there's my red arrow over there. It's going to be a bit awkward, isn't it, as I have to adjust my arrow from the other side of the wheel. If you're Aries rising, well, Cancer, which is ruled by the Moon, is your 4th house. So you might experience this year luck, expansion, growth, and prosperity regarding 4th house things, which are home, roots, heritage, lineage, your community that you grew up in, the culture you grew up in, that might be a real source of expansion and prosperity and blessing for you this year. All right, how am I going to do this? I might have to revise my strategy in the future. If you're Taurus, if you're Taurus rising, Cancer is your 3rd house. So Jupiter Moon connection, Moon rules Cancer, and they're together in this beginning of the next year ahead chart. So there's going to be prosperity, expansion, growth, Jupiter things, luck, happening regarding 3rd house things for Taurus rising people. 3rd house things, maybe starting a new business, that could really be supported at this time in the coming year by this. Starting a new business, perhaps doing some marketing, doing some advertising, doing some speaking. You know, you might set up an opportunity to talk to a group about a topic that you're really interested, teaching something, learning something. That's all going to be supported for you in the coming year in an expansive way, and you're going to grow from that. I'm going to whiz through these as quick as possible. Gemini. Lovely Gemini. Well, it's second house for you, Gemini. So this is really great for Gemini people. The conjunction of the moon and Jupiter is going to influence, obviously, the things that the moon rules, which is second house things. There's going to be luck, expansion, growth, and prosperity for Gemini rising people regarding your resources, regarding money, regarding, you know, how you earn money for a living, but also what you need to support your body's journey in this lifetime. That's what really the second house is all about, not just money. So, you know, do you need new shoes? Do you need better food in your cupboard? Do you need new tires on your car? Like, what are your resources like at the moment? Jupiter's going to help expand them. It might give you the money to put new tires on your car. You might find that you have the financial income to get rid of all those frozen pizzas out of your freezer and put fresh ingredients in your fridge. You know, the expansion and the growth and the prosperity can come in many forms, and sometimes we don't recognize it because we're looking for the big fireworks. So keep that in mind. But the expansion for Gemini rising people is going to happen with second house things, resources for living. You're going to experience some growth, some bigger manifestation, prosperity, and abundance in those things. Oh, my chair's very squeaky. Okay, Cancer rising people, first house. So the moon rules your first house. So everything about your life stands a chance to really blossom this year. You know, the way you appear to the world, the way, you know, your visual appearance. In fact, I would add a warning with that. Jupiter Jupiter is expansion. First house is your body. So book in to the gym now. You don't want your body to be expanded in this coming year. So be warned, be ready. Put a good diet in place, or you know, a healthy exercise routine, and you'll be well ready for Jupiter's energy there. But if you focus on other things, then you can sort of direct the expansive energy away from your hips and your waistline. But Jupiter rising, sorry, not Jupiter rising, Cancer rising is, you know, you're going to experience more soul expansion, happiness, more joy, more abundance within you. Your whole life journey this coming year stands to be expanded because of this connection. And when I say life journey, I'm talking about, you know, you might just have lucky opportunities that come your way. You might find somebody, you know, offers you an opportunity at work that you weren't expecting, and so you run with that. And you know, it's everything about your life journey. Kind of all comes back to the first house. It is the most important house in the horoscope. All the other houses represent a very succinct, direct, unique kind of area of our life or component of our life. But the first house is our journey. It's everything. So everything stands to be transformed for you this year and expanded and made more abundant and to grow more. So you might get more opportunities at work. You might get a better health routine. You might get a better relationship with your mum and dad. You know, everything could really blossom and grow and become more fruitful and well-rounded for you Cancer rising people. So go you. Right. We've got Leo people, and this makes Cancer rising, Cancer the 12th house. So what is going to be expanded, what is going to blossom and grow and be more abundant for Leo rising people is 12th house things, which is karmic stuff. You know, you might have more karmic dreams. You might tap into past lives a bit more and resolve a lot more past life stuff that sets you free. This is great. It can also be more of a connection to the divine realms, to more of a connection to spirituality, more of a connection to divine creativity, you know, investing in music even. I mean, Cancer energy is quite musical, quite creative, quite intuitive and imaginative, and 12th house is connected through its association with Neptune to music. So you can experience some, some abundance in terms of music even, or divinely inspired, you might see a painting and it just moves you to your core and you just have to buy it. So you invest in divinely inspired art or divinely inspired music or film, or or maybe you get the opportunity to have a holiday by the ocean. This is also 12th house, is overseas, anything to do with the ocean. So all these things can be expanded for you in some way, shape, or form in the coming sojourn of Jupiter through Sagittarius. Alrighty, Virgo people, Virgo rising people, puts Cancer as the 11th house. Well, the expansion, the prosperity, the growth, the abundance is going to happen for Virgo rising people in their 11th house of wishes, hopes, dreams, rewards for the hard work you've put in, so gains, and also large groups of people and friends. How fantastic for Virgo rising people. This is going to be a really special time when your friendship groups can expand, when your social connections can grow, when your dreams and wishes and aspirations can manifest, and the rewards for the efforts and the hard work that you've put in over the years can come back to you, can really blossom and manifest. Now you can receive the rewards. So fantastic placement for you lucky Virgo rising people. Libra people, lovely Libra, and this is falling, then Cancer is their 10th house. So when we have this wonderful, abundant, prosperous growth manifesting energy of Jupiter Moon conjunction, well, the growth is going to happen career-wise. You're going to get opportunities to expand yourself and your, the recognition that you have throughout the world, or in your community even. It doesn't have to be a worldwide thing, but opportunities for social recognition, opportunities for growth in your career and expansion in your career can happen. Opportunities to connect with authority figures or bosses, that sort of thing, in a really positive, empowering, growth way can really be enhanced. So you might find you have a great dynamic relationship with your boss that brings you a lot of blessing into your career. So that's a real bonus to have that placement as well. In fact, we're all lucky. We're all lucky. This energy is going to be really supportive of us in the coming year, which is such good news, coming after the pretty raucous end to 2018 that we've all experienced. All right, so when we've got Scorpio rising, where all this energy's been for the last little while, hello, we have Cancer is the 9th house. Cancer in the 9th house is the luckiest house in the horoscope, so they say, and that's because it trines the ascendant, and the 5th house is the second luckiest house in the horoscope because it also trines the ascendant and trines the 9th house too. So we've got this lucky house, and so luck and prosperity and growth can happen in lucky ways, and Jupiter is Lord in general of the 9th house. So there's a real solid connection here for Scorpio rising people. But the 9th house also, well, what this means is expansion, growth, prosperity, blossoming, luck happening regarding higher learning opportunities that come to you, travel and trips that are about the expansion of your soul, not necessarily, trips to Club Med to sit there with a book and soak up the sun, but trips that are about expansion. Like I said, Sagittarius is expansion, the 9th house is expansion, Jupiter is expansion. So this is about trips that expand your soul, stand to be really beneficial over the coming year. So, going to a yoga retreat might be really beneficial. Going to Bulgaria to connect with Lada would be a very soul expansive thing to experience as well. Real blessings that can occur through travel, I should say. So higher learning, travel, and benefactors, people who have got your best interest in mind, people who are looking out for you, people who've got your back. They might be a financial benefactor, or they might be someone who prays for you, or they might be somebody who's who's looking out for networking opportunities and marketing opportunities for you, just somebody who's really got your back. So lots of blessing and expansion regarding those things. And then we've got Sagittarius rising, which puts Cancer Cancer over here in the 8th house. So this is where things can be expanded for people with Sagittarius rising, 8th house things. Well, what does that mean? Other people's money. Other people's money in your life might receive some sort of expansion and growth and prosperity. You might find you have an opportunity to, I don't know, even have access to a will that you didn't realize was going to be part of your life. So that can be a blessing and a manifestation for you. It can also be hidden mysteries and things like psychology, things like delving into sort of crystal and tarot cards and sort of the more hidden practices that aren't mainstream, basically, we see by the 8th house. So, exploring astrology more might be a real opportunity for growth and abundance and expansion for you this year. Exploring tarot, exploring crystals, exploring energy healing, exploring psychology and understanding your subconscious realms, the hidden realms of who you are. All these sorts of things can give you a great deal of expansion and growth on a really personal level for you this year. Yeah, they're the main things. And also the 8th house is transformation. It's death and rebirth experiences. We see those by the 8th house. So there can be an expansion, if you like, of death and rebirth experiences, which means for Sagittarius, Sagittarius rising people, they might experience this year sweeping out and getting rid of things that aren't working, and they're blossoming and entering into new opportunities that they may never have even thought were there for them. So death and rebirth experiences. And I don't see those things as negative. A lot of people say, oh, trauma, but no, they are things that take us to the next level, that help our lives to become bigger and more expanded so that we can meet our destiny. So embrace the death and rebirth experiences. Don't be scared of them. And I think that for Sagittarius rising people, this is going to happen in a really easy way because of the Jupiter Moon connection that's occurring. It's going to unfold in a blessing way. So, phew. Okay, Sagittarius to Capricorn rising people. There we are. Capricorn rising places. Cancer in the 7th house. Wow. For Capricorn rising people, the expansion, the growth, the prosperity, the abundance can come through partnership this year. Now, that's not just a committed romantic partnership. It can be a business partnership. It can be any type of contractual relationship. So maybe you contract someone to come and re-roof your house or something like that. Well, that is this kind of energy. It's going to be payoff. It's going to be abundant. It's going to be prosperous. Any contract you sign this year stands to bring you some sort of abundance or prosperity. Now, not every, I want you to read the fine print, don't go, oh, Kesenya said, it's going to all be okay. Well, it depends what's playing out in your natal chart. So definitely check that out first. But in general, there is opportunity for more abundance through contractual agreements. There is opportunity for more growth and prosperity through connecting with a partner. Maybe you'll meet somebody this year because of this connection. Maybe this is the year that they'll enter into your life, because this year transit of Jupiter is starting with a connection, a strong connection from the Lord of your 7th house. So you might connect with someone in a business level even. This year, that all those things stand to be really enhanced by the beginning of Jupiter's transit through Sagittarius conjunct Moon. Alrighty, getting to the end now. Aquarius rising people. Places, Cancer, 6th house. So the abundance, the prosperity, the growth, the joy, the upbeat attitude is going to happen for you in 6th house things. 6th house things are daily work routines, what you do for a living, how you earn the money to pay the bills is seen here. So all of those things are going to be expanded and made more prosperous for you, and there's going to be an emphasis on growth there. You're going to grow through those things. Also, 6th house is health, so you're going to grow through your health stands a chance to be really enhanced and reinvigorated. Maybe you'll be addressing health issues more. You'll be expanding your consciousness around your health, around your eating habits, around your daily routine that causes you to be either healthy or unhealthy. So there's a focus there, and it's all about growth and maturing and becoming more yeah, more expanded. The word for Jupiter is expanded. So all of these things can really blossom. Let's hope that in this case, enemies, which is also ruled by the sixth house, are not expanded as well. We don't want that. But because we are coming from the perspective of Jupiter conjunct the moon, and the moon rules Cancer in your chart, that I believe it's going to be much more positive. So the enemies, if they do crop up in your life for Aquarius rising people, they're not going to amount to much. You know, you'll be able to just blow them off because Jupiter moon energy is big, beautiful, abundant, joyful, wonderful. So the enemies that crop up, they're not going to amount to much. I would focus instead your attention more on your daily work routines and your health, and you won't even get a look in from the enemies. Okay, Aquarius, Pisces, finishing with my darling Pisces. There we are, Pisces rising people. Go us, fifth house. So Pisces rising people are going to experience more abundance, more growth, more prosperity, more jovialness, if you like, regarding fifth house things. So this is romance, this is love, this is hobbies and interests. This is what we do for pleasure and joy. This is how we have fun. It's also connected to children. So all of these things for Pisces rising people can be expanded, can be more prosperous, more lucky, if you like, through this connection over the this chart that we've cast for the moment that Jupiter moves into Sagittarius. We can then get a feeling of, well, what's coming up for us all. There's more abundance. So I hope that's given you something to look forward to, and a place to direct your energy and your enthusiasm in the coming year. Because when we focus on things and have the support of the planets in doing so, then that's when manifestation really can start to occur. Now, before I finish today's little chat, I wanted to have a look at what is happening on November the 10th. November the 10th is going to see, I'll grab my pen, excuse me. November the 10th is going to see an interesting shape. So we've got November the 7th, November the 8th, skip November 9th as we recover from all this wonderful energy and put our feet up for a bit. Then November the 10th is going to see a wedge shape form. Now the wedge shape is going to form here between Uranus, right through the middle there, Uranus to Venus. So there's already an opposition kind of playing out. It's a fairly loose one. It's not a direct, like Uranus will be at 29 degrees of Aries. And Venus is, I think, let me check from memory, I think Venus is at 26 degrees. There we go, 26 degrees of Libra. So, you know, there's about 4 to 5 degrees difference between the two, but it's still within orb and therefore still an opposition. And it's making a sextile. Uranus is making a sextile to Mars up here in Aquarius. And Mars is then making a trine over here to Venus on this day. So we've got a wedge shape. It consists of a sextile, a trine, and an opposition. Now, ordinarily, we've got this happening here is tension, and that's been playing out a little bit over the last couple of weeks while Venus is moving retrograde, and so is Uranus, and we talked about this in the video I did last week. But the way out of this tension that's being created between Venus and Uranus, sort of unexpected things happening regarding money, regarding women, regarding you know, self-worth, those sorts of things seen by the planet Venus. The way out of the tension here is to actually focus on the Mars. Mars in this wedge shape, this planet is always the way out, the release, if you like. So if we're feeling tense regarding women still, you know, if we're feeling that there's upheaval regarding money still, what we need to do to lighten that feeling, to lighten that load, so to speak, over the coming week, but particularly on this day, the 10th, this is when these two try and exact, is focus on on the Mars energy, and what does Mars rule in your chart? Where is Mars for you in your chart? Now, you would obviously need to see your own chart to know where Mars is. I don't know where everybody's Mars is, funnily enough. But for example, if you were a Pisces rising, in this instance, on this chart, Mars would be in your 12th house. So you would focus on your 12th house. Put your energy there, and that will alleviate some of the tension between Libra and between Venus and Uranus, and that lightens it up to sort of focus on spiritual things, 12th house things in this case. Focus on spiritual things, your spirituality, your spiritual relationship with the world, your understanding of spiritual things. Read spiritual books, watch some YouTube videos that enhance your spiritual life, go and be by the ocean, take time out, have a little break, do some some art, maybe write some songs, channel the divine creativity. All those sorts of things are what will really take the edge off if you're still feeling edgy between that Venus women issues that's coming from this opposition. So I just wanted to point that out. If you're familiar with your chart, jump on, find where Mars is, what house it falls in, and then focus on that energy. If you need any help, by all means, you can contact me for a reading. Love to help you sort out some of these things and find out what's going on. That's my pleasure. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, I hope that gives you some insight into how you can address the coming days and what to look forward to. So don't forget, if you're interested in finding out if you are prone to having many marriages, or if you want to know about future life partners, what are they going to be like? Are they going to be worth any effort on your part, or should you just forget about it entirely? Then come along to my webinar. It's at the link below. You can jump on there, join us, and that's on the 16th of November, but it will be available afterwards as well. If you're not available on the 16th of November to attend the premiere, then by all means there will be a link to provided if you purchase the webinar. There'll be a link made available for you to watch the webinar afterwards and learn all about your future life partners there and whether you'll marry again. So thanks so much for joining me, and let's close with a little prayer of gratitude. Energy of the universe, we just say thank you for the positivity that Jupiter moving into its own sign of Sagittarius is bringing us here on Earth, and we're all thankful for that at last. We look forward to the shift in energy this week. We can't wait to see what it brings us, what unfolds, and we just thank you that nothing ever stays the same. Things are always changing, moving, shifting. So good times pass, and so do the bad times, and we just thank you for the good times that are going to come to us in the year ahead with Jupiter and Sag. And so it is. It's got to be.